make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail, man. Everyone doesn't have a voice. Um, Made a live about it, but I want to, make it shorter. There are double standards in life, and when there are double standards in life, you can't. You might be on the short end of the stick. So a lot of times we like to, express ourselves, but everybody doesn't have a voice. Some people are scared to speak, for a myriad of reasons. You know, maybe they'll lose their job. Maybe they'll lose their fear that they'll lose their family. They fear that they'll lose their friends. So they don't have a voice per se. Then you got people who they might be saying the right things, but people just aren't trying to listen. There are a lot of people who have spoken but don't have a voice because you just don't want to hear what they have to say because you don't like them. There are people that people like that say a bunch of crazy things, but people gravitate to them. People like them, and then there are people who say a bunch of let's just say productive things, and because you don't like them, you don't listen to them. So, you know, are they talking? Yes. Do they have a voice? No. So everybody doesn't have a voice. Um, the thumbnail is Ving Rhames and Pulp Fiction. And if anybody's watched Pulp Fiction, if you haven't, after he's bound and gagged, then let's just say a dude in a bodysuit comes in and takes advantage of the situation. And that's how it is with people who don't have a voice. Sometimes people are trying to speak, but they're too busy getting screwed by whatever for you to listen. Like, um, if you ever watched the movie Gladiator, you know, Russell Crowe's character Maximus didn't have a voice. He was a slave in a dungeon, fighting for his life. But when they figured out who he was, they continued to have him be a slave, toiling, could possibly die any day. They didn't say, "Oh man, my bad," So he didn't really have a voice. People, "Oh yes, he does." Not really, because he had to die to be heard. And that's the other thing about not having a voice. Some people have to literally die to be heard. Sometimes y'all don't listen to people until they're dead and gone. Sometimes you don't listen to people until they're actually gone. Somebody could tell you something over and over and over again to your face, and you just ain't trying to hear it. But when they disappear, man, you hear them so clearly. So obviously they don't have a voice because that's not what you wanted to hear. You know, and then some people don't have a voice because I hate to say this, but they're in the wrong crowd. Let's just say it like that. They don't have a voice because they may be doing the right things around all the wrong people. And those people aren't trying to hear, a voice of reason, a voice of logic, a voice of wisdom. That's not what they're trying to hear. So you don't have a voice. Then let's take it a step further. Some folks don't have a voice because it's set up that way. Initially in the live stream, I was talking about how if you go in family court and you're a husband or a father, you're going to assume to not have a voice, because you're going to have to thread the needle. You're going to have to say all the perfect things at the perfect time and the perfect phrases and the perfect words for every little scenario. And if you don't do that, oh, you're not perfect. So let's just hit you what we're hitting everybody else with. Some people don't have a voice because the bar is so high, it's set so high for them to to be normal that you just waiting on a mistake. And the mistake ain't even, theirs to make really. It's just yours to interpret. So they don't have a voice because, you know, that's another reason because people are bad listeners. It's hard to have a voice around people who don't hear you, or they purposely don't hear you, or they're not smart enough to hear what you actually said, and they make up something else in their mind. It's like, oh, it's this, it's that, and it's not. It's not those things. But you won't have a voice because you'll be constantly repeating yourself over and over again. Um, and some people don't have a voice because the people that they're talking to have an agenda. So you might feel like you're in a situation where nobody's hearing me, but everybody seems to be on the same page because they've already decided they're on the same page. And whatever you got to say is interrupting that. So, of course, you don't have a voice. It's not meant for you to have a voice. They've already made the decision before you talk, before you even spoke. So everybody doesn't have a voice. But tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch you on the next one. Peace.